guys? We are here with the show Palaver, Palaver, to have the uncomfortable conversation. Why y'all laughing? Listen, Palaver is exactly what the definition is. We just sit and have a conversation, and we have an uncommon conversation.
Very uncommon.
Very uncommon. And guess what? The topic today is the definition of a woman. What does a woman mean to you? How do you show up as a woman? Do you have to live a certain lifestyle to be a woman? Do you have to have certain experiences to claim womanhood? Do you have to be a mother? Do you have to have a vagina? Do you have to be a wife? Or, you know, all the things that come into womanhood. Does that define you as a woman? Anybody want to go first?
Where are we gonna start with this?
Listen, we just jumping in.
We're gonna start with
Because
it's levels to this.
It's levels to this.
That's right.
You're right.
That's right.
So textbook
Yeah.
a woman is an adult female human.
And
Exactly. That's why I said we.
okay, well,
You know, what do
I
we-
would say to me, being a woman is being something that a man is not, meaning having
Ooh.
qualities that a man doesn't have. So I'm giving an
So
example.
opposite of
But
a
see,
man.
that makes it kind of complicated because then you have to ask.
Well,
What
let me
is a man?
let you know.
See?
Let me let you know.
That's kinda
No,
hard.
but there are certain qualities that we have that men don't have, such as our intuition. Men do not have intuition that we have, and I think that kind of cuts it right down the middle.
I don't know about that. I'm
I
going Geechee,
Go,
and
Go.
they be knowing.
go.
Well, I guess they have intuition, but not the instinct that women have.
I think-
it's a different type
I
of
don't even
intuition.
They
They
may
have
just not
the
say
intuition.
anything. I think that they do have the intuition.
Not like us.
They know. They just
Don't
don't
act on it.
act on it. They don't say anything. They don't say anything.
I guess this is tricky and there's different levels to what a woman is, but if you ask me what does it mean to be a woman, I just believe that it's solely on number one, the identity. Identifying as a woman, however you show up, however that looks like to you, if you identify as a woman, because when you break down woman, the gender of being a woman is a social construct, meaning that socially, if you identify and this resonate with you as your identity, you can claim that. So that's what it means to be a woman to the individual, number one. Number two is the lived experience of what the identity is. So if you, number one, identify what a woman is and you claim that identity, number two, the next step is to live the experience. So are you experiencing the lifestyle of that identity? So identity and experience of that identity, which is what a woman is what a woman is.
And see, that's why I said let's be specific because I could have went into that. But
Elaborate.
I'm kind of literal all the time, matter of fact.
Elaborate.
So it depends on what conversation you're having. Are we having the scientific conversation, or are we having the, I'll call it the politically correct conversation? Because there is a difference between gender and sex.
Absolutely.
But hold on, it gets complicated. We gonna get you. I ain't gonna do that right now.
Okay, so let me ask a question. I have a question.
Okay.
To piggyback. So, okay, I remember growing up and someone telling me the meaning of woman compared to just men, and taking the womb, the W-O stood for woman having a womb.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
Absolutely true.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely true. But
So does that define you? Do you have to have a womb? And I mean, you're the biologist. So there are some women that were born, put on this earth, and didn't have a womb. you say about that?
Or the ones that had
That's
hysterectomies
expelled.
and don't have it.
Don't have it anymore, but they're still a woman, right?
But I would think that someone that was born without a womb most likely is intersex. So, well, they could have other parts.
Well,
of
they
it.
could still have a
Intersex is
vagina
as
and not
well.
have a womb.
True.
I don't see. That's why. Are we talking about
But we're talking about it all.
genetically,
Yeah.
biologically,
All of it.
physiologically?
I'm glad you said that because you said genetically or biologically. Those are different, okay?
Physiologically.
So
Give
that's
your
different,
point,
right?
give your
Genetically,
point, though.
biologically, and physiologically.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Expound
Yes.
on that.
Explain
Expound
that.
on
Okay,
that.
so genetically, your
Okay.
chromosomes.
Okay.
Are you XX? Are you XY?
Okay.
That makes you male or female. So that's one aspect. Do you look like a woman? Do you present
Oh.
as a woman? Because
What
I
is a
always
look?
say,
But what is a look?
but this is, hold on.
Do you
It's a
feel like a woman?
Not even that. No.
But what is a look?
I wouldn't even say all of that because I have had all types of friends my entire life. And you may feel like you're a woman, but are you a lady?
Oh.
Do you act like one?
Okay.
Because there are a lot of people who live alternative lifestyles who love to say that they are whatever, but do not live the lifestyle of a woman. If you're a woman, prove it. Are you a lady?
Oh, not prove it. She said prove it.
Well, because the way I grew up and the people I grew up around, like, it's a no-no and it's not a problem. No issues at all. Why? Because one of my homegirls has been Miss Vanilla since she was like in the 3rd grade. Beautiful trans woman.
But is
Oh,
that considered a woman? Does society define it or does she define it?
I would
How is that?
say that's a woman, but not a female. But that's
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. How are we speaking? Are we speaking?
Right. Is it inner or outer?
And are we speaking about gender?
Right. Inner or outer?
Are we speaking about sex? Because gender, as
People
we
equate
know,
womanhood to femalehood.
but you can't do that in the times that we live in. And you know
Right.
what? You know what? It brings me to a very interesting topic as well. A lot of women who are female genetically don't like to be called
Sister.
a female.
Oh.
That as well. Because that's kind of new. Like, if you're going to make something up, like, can I have a say? Like, if it's going to be my nickname, I said it the other day. I think it's weird when you make up your own nickname and use it. Because you at least got to hate your nickname for at least 2 years when somebody give it to you before it's a real nickname. So how you going to give me a nickname? Like, how you going to name yourself as well? And you can't do that. Like, you can do that, but it really don't happen like
I don't
that.
know. I kind of think, I don't want to give myself my own nickname because I know me better than anybody else.
I think people who want to pick
I would.
their own nickname don't
I
like
would,
who they
though.
are. They want to be somebody else, so they make a different alias and they go by it.
Sometimes. But
But that's weird to me.
it's not weird because sometimes you don't want people to know your government. You don't want them to know who you really are.
You know what? I'm gonna say 2 things, and it's
Sometimes.
still on topic. Because we did get off topic. A lot of biological women don't like to be called female. They hate to be called a female.
Why
They
do you
hate
think
for
that
men
is?
to call them a female.
Why do you think that?
Because it takes away their humanity and their womanhood. Because
Really?
it's more than just being a
Okay,
female.
see, I've never heard of that.
Like when dudes be like, oh, that female, da 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 da.
Yeah,
When they
and
acknowledge
it's-
them as
But
female.
see, I've never heard of that
You
because
have-
where I'm from, that's all we know.
It's also
That's all
the
we
reason
know.
a lot of men use
Yeah.
female because they couldn't use the word bitch anymore.
Well, when I was growing up, that female was the thing. Female was like, oh, that female did, yeah, that female did, yeah, let me tell you what this female did. Yeah,
But
that
see,
was just
but see,
common.
the way you were saying it,
That
it
was
doesn't even
common.
seem like it was in a positive connotation, the way you was just
But
like
that's
saying.
how it was when I was, we were used to
A
that.
lot of women don't like that, but I said, like, in the times that we living in, baby, I think that might be an important question. There's some people might ask, because there's a difference, and you have to know the lingo, verbiage, diction. They're very important. So
But I think it's all mixed up now.
it's not. It is not.
I do. I
You
think
have
it's
to know
mixed up.
who you're talking to. You have to feel the room. Like, you have to know what kind of link. You gotta know where you at.
Yeah, that's true.
You gotta know who you're talking
But
to.
I still think it's kind of mixed up. I think nowadays people are like, oh, well, this person said this. Oh, okay, you know. Now, but I do agree when they, oh, what's up, hon? And what's up, you know, what's up, mom? You know, oh, that broad right there, you know. What are you saying?
That's rude, though.
What are you saying?
That's rude.
What are you saying?
That's rude, though.
So you're saying that's unacceptable? For somebody,
Well,
what
for
if they
me-
don't know you? What if they don't know you?
For me-
and they just walk up to you and be like, yo, what's up, mom? Yo, look at that shorty right there. Like, yo,
I'm very conservative. People don't talk to me like that.
really?
Yeah, they don't.
Even if you're conservative, they're not. A lot of them are just untaught.
This lady has been out with me. This lady has been out with me. I don't do that. I don't pay. I don't use my money.
Oh, I get that.
I'm not-
but
no.
that doesn't stop them from being, you know.
It's okay. You have to go. Check them right there.
Yeah, that's true.
Because
That's
sometimes
true. If you don't like that,
sometimes
that's
they get a
right.
little slick, but you just, it's called a redirect.
That's true. And
But
I
they don't
totally
come to
get
me
that
like
because if I
that.
come out, if I'm out, and you're like, yo, ma, yo, short, I will not even answer you. I don't answer bird calls. I don't answer cat calls. I don't answer whistles. I don't answer none of that.
I would answer.
So I get that. I don't.
I'm a conversationalist.
I don't. Yeah.
I like
I'm
this,
not.
and I'm kind of controlling as well. I'm a Capricorn. Kind of controlling as well, and I like to.
You're not gonna address me like that.
I
Get my
like to change
attention.
conversation, because if I'm able to kind of change the conversation and change the way you come at me, I got control of the whole
If you come at me like that, you stay over there. I don't even want to change your conversation. I don't even want no
you may
conversation.
not even
from
have to
you.
be interested in that
That's
person
me.
like that.
That's me.
But I just like to have conversations. I like to talk.
That's just not.
So what about when it comes down to like the cat calls and
Yeah,
stuff?
all of that. Is that
I
okay, or do you kind of like ignore it? Do you check them? Like what you do?
Sometimes it depends.
Oh,
but like I feel like as I got older, those things haven't. I'm kind of getting out of age because I'm so used to being the different thing that's walking inside of Walmart, and I draw a lot of attention just by going outside. So I get eyes and I get cat calls. And
You know
stuff.
why? It's because you are so pretty. My homegirl is like that. She always thinks somebody's staring at her or looking at her negatively.
And
I
it's
was
not
like,
even.
you look good,
not
babe.
awful.
And it's
You
not
look
always a
good.
negative thing, but I know that I draw a lot of attention. I'm tall, I'm long, I'm statuesque. Like you said, I'm pretty, and I draw a lot of attention. And people walk up to me sometimes and say, hey, oh my gosh, your hair, your face, your cheekbones,
Your
you're
eyes.
tall, you should be a model. They say all this all the time. And then from the men, yes, I do get cat calls, or yes, men do put me aside and say, hey, by the way, you're a beautiful black queen. I do get that. But the cat calling, I kind of,
Sometimes it could just be disrespectful.
it depends on how it, like, I know when it's like, hey, yo, mom type of thing.
Or something.
Hey, you look real beautiful type of thing. You trying to get my attention. So it
and classy.
intuition, I can feel, you know, what time to be on. But the whole thing of being a woman, I think that comes with that, you know,
It
dealing
does come
with
with
how
the territory.
men are interact with you,
How they perceive
dealing
you.
with how they approach you and stuff like that, and you know, living the experience of a woman is just, you know, I found my ups and downs because I wasn't born into a femalehood. I wasn't born into womanhood, and nobody's born a woman.
It's the same stuff
But
anyway.
it's something that has to be taught. Nobody was born a woman. A man
Well, that's a
wasn't
good
born
point.
a man.
That's a good point what you just said. We can be born female, born woman, born the gender of a girl, but we still have to be taught
The
how to deal
experience.
with
So
it.
like I said, the experience is
Yeah,
what teaches.
because sometimes
I think
don't
it's
know.
too. I think the experience that we have to be taught is how to function in society. We're not really
That's why
taught.
it's a social construct.
We're not taught how to be like female or being a woman, or are you associating woman with adult human female?
It's all of that.
Because you really don't have to tell somebody how to be a woman.
No, you know when you're a little girl and your grandparent or your grandmother be like,
But that's-
"Oh, little girls don't do that."
But that's never
Or,
in
"Ladies don't
society.
do that." You know, that's what I mean by being.
Is a
taught.
stud a woman?
Yeah.
Right.
Think about it like this. This is why I break it down. Even just imagine, okay, it was Pangea, we're living, there's nothing, there's no society, there's no jobs, there's nothing to compete with. You don't have to have money, you don't have to pay bills, you're just living. Do you think somebody would have to tell you how to be a woman? No. Naturally, things are gonna happen to you. Womanhood. But when we talk about society, getting along with others, fulfilling goals, things of that nature, yeah, I see the aspect of what you're talking about. But I really need to know how baseline are we taking it so I can see
All the way, because I feel like being a woman, society plays a part, but it doesn't define.
It doesn't define.
The womanhood, and I feel that
It shouldn't define.
it should not. But because society gets in the way of the definition of what that sometimes is interchangeable and it gets in the way. But I just feel that
I think it used to be interchangeable. Is it interchangeable? Not anymore.
I feel that today, in today's society, you have women that were not born females. They were born males. How do you feel about a woman that identifies a woman?
Yeah, that was my question.
This is how I look at it. And this is
Transgender women.
And this is what I told myself when I was younger. A rectangle can be a square, but a square can never be a rectangle. Why? A square has 4 equal sides. That's a square. A rectangle just has 4 sides. Two of them can be long, 2 of them can be short.
So now break it down for our audience. So what are you saying?
A male can be a woman because being a woman is a social construct. It's what you see. But a male can never be a female.
Okay. Now that makes sense though. and I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. Because that's taking you back to the biological side.
And that's why I say,
yep.
What are we talking about?
Yep, that takes you back to the
Are we
biological
talking
side.
about?
But see, I was getting more into the fact that when you're younger, well, not nowadays, but I would say, not too long ago, when you were younger and you were born into, okay, I'm a female, I'm a girl, or I'm a woman, I'm a lady, or whatever. You were, you have to wear pink, you need to walk like this, talk like this.
But that's not being,
you know what I mean?
I don't think that's being a woman. I think that's being feminine and being.
But that's what we were taught, though. That's what little girls were taught, though. And I'm not saying it was right.
Well, I believe in gender.
You know what I mean? No, I'm just saying. I'm not saying that it was right, but that's the type of world and culture that we come from, to where women don't do that, or girls don't do that, or you need to put this on, you need to wear that. I know you can't wear that. That's where we come from, and that's what I'm saying. So when they're younger, a lot of girls are groomed into thinking this is the mold you need to fit in, and this is what you need to do, and this is how you need to speak.
Let's be honest.
This is how
there is a mold that you need to fit in. There are things that you need to do. There are things that you need to say.
And this is how you carry yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and a lot of people say, "Oh no, that's not true." And look what's going on. Yeah, there are things.
Yeah, because even as a young child, you're groomed and taught to be. Oh, you need to do this. And I'm not saying it's right, but you are.
What's the problem with that?
But you are. Because I think it puts them in a box. I think it says, well, you have to do this and you have to do that. And I don't think it should be like that. And let me give you an example. So with my son, when he was younger, let's just say if I decided to buy him a shirt and it was pink or had pink in it, I remember being told, why would you put that on him? It needs to be blue. You don't put that on him. What do you mean? What do you mean? Why? Because society has set the standard and said, oh, boys don't wear this color, or girls, you know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't have a problem with gender roles.
No, I don't. But society does.
But
Yeah.
no, like I believe in gender roles. I believe in female, woman, femininity. This is what they do. Male, man, masculinity, and this is what they do. Because let's look at Black women's liberation.
Okay.
To me, the liberation of a woman is not being equal to a man. It's not even having the same. Well, it's not being equal to a man. Most women do not want to be treated equally to men. You do not want to get out there and do the same thing that men are doing, but you want to be paid the same. Most of us do not want to be treated equally. We want to be treated better. That's what I tell people. It's not about being treated equally. It's actually about being treated better. So, but when you get on that, then you have to look at, back again, biological, gender identity, because there are a lot of women who don't identify as biological women or cisgender women who actually identify as a man, but they still have female issues. So they're still not paid the same. They're still discriminated against, but they may present as male or man, but they still have some of the same barriers as we do. So that's why I said.
So like a trans man or a stud, you talking about?
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, what is a woman? When you ask what's woman, that's tricky. It's a slippery slope because you're gonna have to ask, well, what is man?
So when we go back, I want to touch it back to when you was talking about what it means to be a woman, and you gave your definition, and then you broke down into you believe a person can be a woman and be born male, but not be born male and be female.
Yep.
I want to break that down. So I am a transsexual person, and I live my life as a woman.
You look like a beautiful. I'm sorry.
Thank you, I'm beautiful. And I show up as a woman, and all my lived experiences, I've done the things and did all the things. Do you have to do those things to become a woman? Not necessarily, but those are the things that I have done. But
okay,
when it comes
on that, so
right,
like educate.
Right. So within my womanhood, which how I broke it down before, was solely on the identity and the lived experience of living in the identity of a woman. That's what I have
Do you
done.
feel like that's what you do now? Do you feel
I'm
like
still doing. I don't get out of it. That's something else.
Okay.
But when it comes down to femalehood and what it means to be a female, I personally feel like I never lived in the delusion of claiming femalehood and being born male and living as a woman without taking the proper steps as a trans woman to become female. And the only way a transgender woman can be female is, number one, change their legal documents. So legally they can become female in the United States by changing their birth certificate, driver's license, and social security. You can change those things.
That's legally.
Right. So that's one step. Legally change those things, which I have done. The second thing, I have a vagina. I went through gender reassignment surgery, and a vagina equals what? Female. Solely by genitalia. We're not talking about the bones, the chromosomes, the uterus, all that. Do you have a penis or a vagina? You have a vagina. You're physically a female. How am I categorized as a transsexual female?
Because it is a difference.
Right. The difference between you guys is that you guys are born into female, so it will technically be cisgender female. My argument is
why
that
can't it just be female?
because we have to specify the difference of femalehood. There's different type of females. So I'm a
Different
transsexual
categories
female.
of female.
You are a cisgender female. There's different type of women.
See, this is my
Transgender
question.
women, cisgender women, and it's important medically,
When did all this
physiologically,
happen?
biologically to
Like-
specify the difference, because we don't want to be grouped and classed as different
Yeah.
things, but
Yeah,
it
when you
means
come
something,
together,
and
yeah.
and we have to specify the difference because we don't want to mix anything up, right? Because we don't want people to get you mixed up as a trans woman, right? No, because you're not trans,
No.
and I don't need nobody mixing me
But I
up
would
as a
just-
cisgender woman.
I'm female though. Like,
Right, but the language has changed today, and the verbiage is different now. And now we have to specify, because today saying female means different. Today saying woman means different, because
When did
people
that
are
happen?
identifying as women.
cause I missed that too. My question is,
When trans women became,
when is all this
when trans
happening?
women grab their
Well, see, we've
start to
always
have start to have a voice.
Okay, I'm
It's
gonna say
when
because
it happens.
I'm 34 years old. I've always known trans women.
Yeah, but when it started to become a political thing, when it started to get in news media, when it started to become on TV in front of the kids, what about the kids?
But see, my
It
question.
became different things.
Here's one of my questions. Why does it have to be so visual? I've been knowing transgenders my entire life. Like when I say my entire life. Some of my friends and family, transgender, and old school. Like everybody in the South, well, I'm not gonna say everybody in the South. It is common for people to have things in their family that they just don't talk about. When did we have to start like really talking about
When did
it?
your blackness have to be visual? When did we have to start seeing that? What about the white people telling you that?
Oh, I was born like this, so you always saw
Same thing.
that.
So it's the same. It's the same
My blackness.
thing, right? So for me, I can't say I'm black before I'm trans. I can't say I'm trans before I'm black. They both show up simultaneously.
But
at the
somebody
same
might not
time.
know that you're trans, even though they do show up at the same time. One is very apparent and visual. The other is not.
Some people are pro-black and some people are not.
Well, there's a difference between being pro-black and having black pride.
Right.
But
Because
that's,
see,
that's
that's
a
a
whole
story.
that's a whole other
Right.
conversation.
So basically, some people are pro-trans and some people not. Am I gonna walk outside with TS Janae on my shirt? No. But if it comes up in topics of discussion like probably doing now, or being intimate with a partner, or if I'm having proper conversations with people, I would disclose. I wouldn't disclose just because somebody's saying I want to know.
Right.
And I don't think you should
Right.
either. Like,
Right.
I think that it is something personal, but it's very hard to accept a person saying that they're trans, or a trans woman, let's say that,
And they're female.
with a full beard. No, with a full
Oh.
beard.
But see, that's hard for me too, because after all the things that I have done, and guess what?
How are you?
Right, there will be a trans woman, and what I understood is that I had to swallow my grievances of what a woman is to me, because a cisgender may tell me, well, you're not a woman because X, Y, and Z,
Right.
and then I may tell a bearded trans woman, you're not a woman because of what. So you see the domino effect. So my thing is,
no, that is so funny to
when
me.
I have to say, when I'm sitting on panels and when I'm going to these different colleges speaking, I just respect people for their own identity. Would I do those things? Absolutely. Would I teach my daughters those things? Absolutely not, because I know the world visually understands what a woman is, and we have these social constructs and these social normative behaviors and social normative physiologies that we recognize as what a woman is. When you walk into a bathroom that is exclusively for females and women, I feel that there's a certain decorum, a certain way that you have to, now I don't want to say present yourself, but
Yes,
there's
it
a
is
certain
present.
look that we recognize. You know, so when you have a beard and you're claiming womanhood, you know, we're not talking about women that have a little fuzz or grandma and them that got a little mustache. We recognize them as females, right? But there's something about your gold tee and your broad shoulders. It's not adding up.
It's not believable.
So right, but and that's what makes it very different, because then you have the world of athletics thing where they have the transgender people competing in female sports.
As a transgender person, there's so many levels and different types of everything. Why transgenders can't have their own, like, sports? Why it can't be trans women?
Yeah.
Trans women swimming.
Well, that's a good question. That's a good question. But guys, we have a few comments from people that are viewing. So we want to give us a chance to answer you guys.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to present these questions to the panel. So these are questions that came in. You guys know we're going live, and it says, "What you mean nobody is born female?"
We're not even gonna do that.
What do you mean nobody's born female? No,
that's
I meant
a
to
question.
say. I meant to say.
Question.
I think is twisted. Nobody's born woman or man.
Because you're definitely
A woman and a female and a man and a male are two different things. So boy, woman, man, boy, girl, all those are social constructs of identities. When we talk about, those are genders. When it comes down to sex is something that you was born into or surgically changed.
your chromosome. Well,
right. So if you were born into your genitalia, having a penis equates you to be a male at birth. Having a vagina equates you to be female at birth. If you were born with both, then that is intersex. So those are the things that you're born with. Now, what you choose, what happens after you identify yourself as these, your genitalia can be surgically changed, and then that's a different topic. But gender is something that you're not born as. That's an identity. The doctors will choose your gender based off your genitalia, but technically you're born female, male, or intersex, not gender.
Okay, there's another question, another comment. It says, how can there be a trans woman, and how can a stud be a woman? How does that work?
So the difference. You want to say?
well, I might not say the same things that you would, but because a stud is a female, a trans woman is a male, but socially presents as a woman. Studs socially present as male. Now, as a man. You do still have some studs, I call them stems. They may present masculine, but still have very feminine.
Missy Elliott, the bread.
Yep, still have very feminine tendencies. So a stud is a female that presents masculine or as a man, and a trans woman is a biological male that presents as a woman, unless they've had a sex change. And I guess they could say female, like you're saying, because sexual organs, but not biologically. So like I said, it's a slippery slope, and you gotta know what you're talking about.
So let me piggyback. So when it comes down to a stud and a trans woman, they both are women. But the difference is that the stud still identify as a woman. They're not identifying as a man.
Yeah, that too. Yeah,
they dress and they appear almost pretty much, instead of cross-dresser, we call them studs. So technically they're cross-dressing, because we will say that to men, Men
If
that
they were
dress in
dressing as a
right,
woman, we would call
men
them a
that are
cross-dresser.
dressing in
But when
women's
they're
clothing,
a woman dressing as a man,
we call them
Yeah.
studs.
Or
Stud,
hold on,
right,
we don't
right.
all call them studs. It depends. Well, not studs. Men dressing in females' clothing, we don't all call them drag queens. Sometimes we call them androgynous. So it depends. I think
Well,
that
a
there's
drag queen is different too.
yeah, and I don't think that you would say a stud would be like presented like a drag queen, because I think to be to be a drag queen, you have to really like get into character. It's a lot more avant-garde, like it's bigger.
Yeah, so
Studs wouldn't do
doing
it, yeah.
doing drag is literally for entertainment. It's exaggeration of whatever gender expression they're doing at that moment, and it's for entertainment. It's for a show.
Entertainment
So that's not
purposes
being a
only.
drag queen is not an identity.
because they don't walk
Yeah.
around like that all the
Being
time.
a drag queen is not
right?
an identity.
It's not
Being a
permanent,
cross dresser
right,
is not
look.
and not an identity. But when it comes down to being a stud, I still identify as a woman, but they are literally cross dressers. But we call them studs because they come off and they appear. They wear men's clothing and they are in the
I would call them more androgynous, but that's just me.
Okay.
Okay, guys, that kind of segues into the next question. The next question from our viewer says, what's the difference between feminine traits and womanhood?
So you could be feminine, but that doesn't make you a woman. You could be feminine and you don't have to be a female. Feminine is literally an energy. Masculinity is literally an energy. It's not an identity. So a man can be feminine. A boy can be feminine. A woman can be feminine. A female can be feminine. Like anybody, a dog can be feminine. A pig can be feminine. Like feminine is literally the energy. So femininity and masculinity does not belong to a gender or a sex.
And we also need to add on top of that, looking in the camera, okay? Your femininity and masculinity should be balanced no matter who you are. Men, males, females, women, trans men, everybody in between, whatever. Everybody possesses masculine energy and everybody possesses feminine energy in a vessel. They should be balanced, no matter who you are. So if you're a female presenting as a woman, a feminine woman, you still have masculine traits, you still have masculinity. And if you're a man presenting as a masculine man, you still got feminine traits.
Okay, I need for you to expound on that. When you say that if you're a female, would you still have masculine, what did you say, traits?
Yeah, masculinity
Okay.
is literally the drive for power.
Okay.
That's
what
what
I wanted you to
masculinity is.
explain
Yeah.
that to.
Masculinity is literally the drive for power. You know, femininity is a receptive
So why?
energy.
So let me ask you this then. Why would it have to be a masculine trait? Why not it's just a trait to have? Why do you have to label it, well, that's a masculine trait to want power? Women want power too. So I'm asking you, why does it have to have, well, women or men, why not just the trait of power?
Well, because that's how it shows up organically. That's how it shows up naturally. That's how it shows up spiritually. If you look back in ancient spiritual texts as well, you see things that are masculine, things that are feminine. It may not even be a person. Look at the moon, feminine. Look at the sun, masculine.
Is that a matter of perception or is this a fact?
No, it's a fact. It's what they do. Don't you speak? You come from a Spanish background.
Sure do.
What's the moon? La luna. Female. What's the sun? What el sol? Masculine.
Yep.
It's what they do. It's not what it is.
That's a good point.
It's what they do.
Yeah, that's
And
a
the
good
moon
point. That's a
exudes
good
emotion. And emotion is a
That's a good
feminine.
point.
It's an
thing,
amplifying energy.
And the sun gives out energy.
It produces
But
things.
that's a good point that I think a lot of people
So
don't
Provide.
know.
Masculinity-
Providing. That's
Yeah, that's what it does.
masculine.
Masculinity, the way it presents in real life, in physical form, is building things, producing things. That's what masculinity does. Femininity is more of a receptive,
Yes.
feelings,
Yes.
you know, things
Or
like
receiving
that.
those things that were produced.
Really, the way masculinity and femininity is supposed to work is Femininity is supposed to connect
Teacher.
masculinity to the heart. Because your head needs to be connected to your heart. Because if your head is not connected to your heart, you become violent. Well, not violent,
And they
but
both need to
it becomes
function
destructive.
simultaneously. They both need each other.
But it goes back to what you said,
Cycle.
balance.
But that's why you got people that's out here, when a lot of men say women are masculine, it's because their masculinity and femininity is not balanced. And a lot of women present masculine traits because it's pseudo. Pseudo, what is that? Fake. It's pseudo masculinity.
But
It's not
let's
real.
add this too. Let's add this. A lot of women do possess that, and they, you know, what's the word? Demonstrate it, because they are forced into it.
But it's fake.
I want to say that. I want to say a lot of them are forced into it. Cause just think of the single moms. Just think of the women that had to be more masculine in order to survive.
You can be masculine
No.
but still have femininity.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Of
course. But sometimes that masculinity would take over because of your situation.
But that's not masculinity.
know?
That's pseudo masculinity. We as women, feminine, I guess presenting, or we want to be feminine identified by other people actually. So, dang, what was I just?
You was talking about pseudo.
Yeah.
Okay, so the way pseudo masculinity shows up in women a lot of the times is we think we have to compete with men, but we don't understand that the way masculinity shows up is by producing things. We think we have to produce things too. We think we gotta pay the bills, we gotta take care of
Okay,
this.
stop right there. That's a good point. You're making a very good point. But what about, and I'm being the advocate here, what about those that have to
It's still
have
pseudo.
to produce
It's still
and
pseudo.
have to be and have to, you know what I mean?
It's still pseudo
You
masculinity.
know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I definitely.
Yeah,
no,
you
honey, I have a 14-year-old.
So you know what I mean?
Yes, but it's still pseudo masculinity. Us doing masculine things doesn't make us masculine.
No, it doesn't make you
So do you
masculine.
think trans
but-
women have pseudo femininity?
To a certain extent. to a certain extent. Let me tell you, the trans women that have that, the ones that use buzzword terms like birthing person, oh yeah, because you can't say mother, birthing person, or we, or
Okay,
more
now
than
this is
women.
the first I'm
A trans woman
hearing
can
of
be a
this.
mother?
Yeah, this is the first I'm hearing of the birthing person.
That's a good
There's
one.
a difference between a mother and a mom and a mama.
What is a birthing person?
Oh.
Could that
A
be
person
a
that
male?
get-
Could that be a male?
No, but it can be a man.
Okay, because a trans man can give birth
Yes.
and not be a mother.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay,
So,
no,
somebody that was
no.
born female
They can't be a mom.
got pregnant.
Right.
They
That's a
identify
mother.
as a man.
Okay.
No, that's a
and
mother.
Push out a baby.
That's a mother.
Yeah, that.
It's just not a mama. It might not be the mama.
But it
But
was
that's a
a
mother.
situation.
Okay, but what
It was a
about a
situation that happened.
transgender pushing out a baby? What would you have to say about that? If that, I mean, you know,
That
because
can't-
things are possible. No.
What a
Things
urinary
are
transplant.
possible.
Okay, but that's
Things are possible.
we ain't there.
Yeah, we there. Oh, we there.
But
But
guess
guess
what?
what?
Urinary
But hold on,
transplant.
okay, you want
They're doing
They're
urinary
already
transplant.
experiment.
Wait,
Yes,
okay, you
they
want to take
are.
it there? Let's take it. Let's
You're
take
already
it there. Okay, let's take it there. All right. So guess what? Even with an artificial womb, it still has to be.
No, a
it's-
urinary transplant from a biological
Yes,
female.
Woman and
Yes,
to
it's
a
still
man.
it's still an artificial womb. It's because it doesn't.
Well, listen, I know what you're saying,
Yeah.
but I know what you're saying too.
Yeah.
It's a wound
Well,
that's
no, well,
taken.
you
It's
know
a
what?
wound. I know
Let's
what
not
you're saying.
let's not say that.
But you're saying artificial because it didn't.
It didn't
wasn't
come from. It
brain.
didn't,
Right,
it didn't
right.
originate from there.
Right, I
but
get
that's really not the
I
right
get it.
term. You're absolutely
I
correct.
get it.
So if let's say someone has a womb transplant, you can't fertilize an egg in that womb naturally. It still
That's
has,
true.
it still has to be implanted.
And it still has to be fertilized manually.
And guess what?
Yeah.
You still not the mother. You
Well,
the
what
mother?
about the biological woman that's doing the same thing? That's getting in vitros and implants and urinary transplants because they're not functioning.
They
the
didn't
same
get
way.
they didn't get a uterus implanted.
Some of them have. That don't have
I gotta do some research on that.
There's a lot of stuff going on in this world.
Yeah.
So it's like
That's why people
anytime
coming
we,
up- I believe that's why people coming up missing
acknowledge
too.
these
But
things,
that's a different story.
yeah, anytime we acknowledge these anomalies, that the goalpost is always pushed to the next level. Well, what about this?
What's
what
so
about
bad?
this? Because
Well,
there's
let's see
different
if
type
we can
of
do
things.
this. Let's
Right.
see it, yeah.
But
Oh,
I
get
feel-
what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
But
Yeah.
I think it's just some stuff that we just should not do. I was telling my daughter that because she's very curious, and we were talking about hormones and whatnot. And being a pharmaceutical science major, I know that anything that sparks a physiological change in your body is a toxin, be it good or bad. And there's a lot of things going on with the hormone replacement and trying these different things in adolescence and adulthood as well. And we do not know what kind of effects these things have long term. And it just really makes me it makes me afraid for people that I love, because a lot of people don't know what's gonna happen in 30 years. Look at it now, look at all these people of color, black women especially, that are suffering from fibroids, endometriosis, PCOS, and all these other things because of relaxers and things like that. Think of all the people who
Baby
had
powder.
uterine cancer from talc and baby powder.
Johnson.
We don't know what we're doing, and it really bothers me that I don't want to say this because a lot of people are going to say I don't understand, and it's not that I don't understand. I definitely do, but to change the way you were, or the way you are, or the way you were born, and you don't even know what it's going to do to you, why would you take that? I'm not a risk taker. Why would you take that risk? Why would you do it if you don't have to? Like, I don't know, I don't understand.
Because I think in life is about risk taking, and as soon as we walk out the door, we don't know what's happening. And I think we do a lot of things in life subconsciously, knowing and unknowingly, that we're taking risks with our bodies, we're taking risks with our choices, I think life is full of risks, and it's up to you to know, be knowledgeable about the risks. So when you endure those things and when those things come, you'll know how to embrace those things. So it's up, at the end of the day, it's up to the individual to know what they want with their life. And it's not up to me to say what I like about somebody or what I dislike, or what I only have control about the decisions and the choices that I make for me and with my body. It's a lot of Christians don't believe in you getting tattoos. You know, there's a lot of people who don't believe in extensions and weaves and, certain surgeries and breast implants and stuff. A lot of people but there's a risk in all of that too. So I feel like it's up to the individual to understand this is what I think is the bad thing, is doing a thing, not knowing the risk, not knowing what's down the road. I think that's
But you
crazy.
could never know the risk, the true risk. You got stuff happening 30, 50, 60 years later. You don't know. So you can't, how can you make an educated guess when you don't have all the information? Unless you don't have the choice. That's but I'm not a risk taker. I'm absolutely not. And I got people counting on me. I want to keep my life as long as I possibly can. And I just don't. I don't understand it like that. Do I accept it? Yeah, because it ain't my business. And I love my people. I love who I love. So
do you think it's important at the end of the day to respect it even though you don't understand it?
absolutely, because respect is due to a dog.
Because people
Y'all
feel
know
like
that.
accepting and respecting is the same thing. Can you accept and not respect, or can you respect and not
Good
accept?
question.
Absolutely.
Good question.
There's a lot of things that I respect, but I do not
You don't
accept.
accept it.
Guess what? I just don't say anything else. We agree to disagree, and guess what? That's okay.
Mama don't do nothing.
A lot of people do not like to agree to disagree.
Yeah.
A lot of people just
And
can't
it's
stop.
okay to agree to disagree. I mean, what other way can you live in this world if you don't agree to disagree?
Do what everybody else is doing, fight,
No,
fight,
no.
try to take over people, try to
Not when you
subjugate
know
people.
different. Yeah, when you know different, you do different.
None of us are any different than each
No.
other. But look how we subjugate each other every day. Look how
That's
we
true.
oppress each
but
other
when you know
every
different
day.
and you get educated and and then you evolve and you grow and you realize, you know what? It's like you said, like it's still about respect.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Who you
things in life that I learned that as much as I wrap my mind around it, I still just may not get it. I may just don't have the comprehension of it. But if this is how you feel for yourself, I have no reason but to respect you as a human, on a human level, as a person. I can only respect how you
How you-
view
yeah.
yourself, how you
Make
see
it-
yourself.
Unless it is affecting me in some particular way and not emotionally. Because a lot of people get affected by their emotions. They ain't nothing but energy, the emotion. So it's different. But if it's affecting me in some way, I gotta say something. Like we were talking about, transgender women competing with biological women. I gotta say something. Yo, people are getting hurt. At this point, now I gotta say something. Now I cannot accept or respect, you know? So I think it depends on the situation, what's happening, because people are multifaceted. I can accept something and reject it, and I can accept it and reject it. Say, I don't want nothing to do with that at all. I get you, I feel you, but nah, that ain't for me. Or I can reject it and still accept it. Like, nah, I don't agree with that, but you know what? I still love you. We still gonna hang. We're still gonna do what we do.
Do white people do that to black people?
Yeah, every day.
Does it make it right?
There's no such thing as right or wrong. It's all subjective.
So when it comes down to that, you made good points, and I can understand because the same way you feel that way with transgender women, I feel that way with other transgender women because I'd be damned if I have to backstroke with somebody that transitioned yesterday, and I've been in transition for over 15 years, and I have to transition. I have to compete next to a person that just transitioned yesterday because they identify.
Hold on. You know what? That just made me think about. I'm not gonna say it. Well, I'm not gonna tell the story. I can't tell the story because I don't know what. Can't tell the story, but that reminds me of a story, and guess what that breeds? Animosity during womanhood. I've had some friends that happened to. I had one friend that looked like she transitioned yesterday, and I had one friend that has been transitioning forever. Well, has been in her womanhood forever. And the one who really just transitioned like yesterday always had it was always something. They were friends, but they was frenemies.
Yeah.
The one that was in womanhood really couldn't understand why, she was like that. But everybody else knew. We like, she mad because, you look how you look, you present how you present. All the dudes trying to get with you, and her nuts just stuck out her skirt. We seen it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's the thing, and I just feel like, when it comes down to the sports thing, I do agree that trans women should have their own lane for sports. And then in their own lane, there should be grouped of different categories, because trans women is different levels of so we need to see surgeries, hormone levels, how long you've been experienced. We need to group those people.
That's a lot. I think that's
together.
too personal.
But sometimes trans can be complex. So I feel like if trans women gonna have a lane, there should be subcategories with these type of trans women, these type of trans women, those type
I
of
think
trans.
I think that's too much. I think they just need to depend on.
I think they need to do it because I don't want to compete with somebody that still have the physical strength of a man.
But
Biologically, my biological makeup right
I see
now
what you're
today
saying.
is different from someone that just transitioned yesterday or somebody that is still living and identifying as
What
a
if
man
y'all
now.
got the same hormone levels though?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, so those are the categories: hormone levels, surgeries, all of that, and the years and experience. All that needs to break down to put the people that can compete together. I think that's only fair. If we're talking about fair, that's fair.
I ain't think
because
about
I can't compete with somebody that still have the male strength and testosterone when I don't broke down. I don't broke down years and years
testosterone
and
and
surgery
replaced it with
and
estrogen.
estrogen, all that. So now
I agree.
I'm physically castrated. I am
I understand.
Hormonally castrated, and my testosterone level has dropped,
Right.
and estrogen level has went up. So I don't have that like I had. And then I haven't went through male puberty. I transitioned in high school, so I never went through the full male puberty and all that because I already started taking hormones and stuff. So all that takes a part. I never lived the life of a man or a grown man, a beard and hair on my shit. I never had that, never experienced it.
How you know you wouldn't like it?